I found 99 confession letters my fiancée wrote to her first love. I was about to ask when Sophia called. James, I have to work overtime at the company tonight. I will be back late. The next second, a romantic proposal in an ancient castle went viral on my social media. My fiancée Sophia, wearing a wedding dress, stood at the top of the castle and kissed her first love. Standing below were all our mutual friends. At that moment, I suddenly didn't want to get married anymore. I contacted the wedding company, changed the groom's name at the wedding to her first loves, and went home overnight with my suitcase to inherit the family business. The story is about to begin. If you like it, remember to like and subscribe. The moment I saw the photos on WeChat Moments, I smiled bitterly. Sophia and I have been together for 10 years, and she said she didn't like a high-profile wedding. For this reason, I racked my brains and found the best wedding company to design a niche, low-key wedding for her. Unexpectedly, she proposed to someone else in a grand castle. Looking at the fireworks all over the circle of friends, and Sophia kissing David, and then looking at the pile of confession letters full of regret and longing in my hands, I suddenly realized, Sophia doesn't dislike high-profile weddings, she just doesn't want to marry me. I took out my phone and told the wedding company to change my name to David's at the wedding. Then I sent a text message to my family and mom and dad, I miss home. The next second, my dad called me, son, where are you? I'll call someone right now, or I'll drive over to pick you up myself. I've thought it through. You've grown up and have your own ideas. If you want to marry that girl named Sophia, then go ahead and marry her. Mom and dad won't stop you anymore. I fell silent. Sophia and I have been together for 10 years. Sophia's family is poor, and her parents would never agree to our being together. For this reason, I took the initiative to cut off contact with my family, believing that we can create happiness with our own hands. 10 years have passed, and Sophia has transformed from a poor student who had to break $1 into $2 to spend, to the CEO of a listed company. I thought we had finally gotten our happy ending after all the hard work, but I didn't expect that the person in her heart was still her first love, David. When I think back to the past 10 years that Sophia and I have spent together, I can see David's influence everywhere. The decoration style of our house, our car, and even my daily clothes are all the types that I hate, but David likes them very much. It's not like I haven't thought about raising objections, but as soon as I opened my mouth, Sophia would get angry at me. What do you know? You have no taste at all. David recommended this to me. He's a designer. How can his taste be worse than that of an ordinary person like you? Over the past 10 years, I have compromised for love time and time again, but what I got in return was deep betrayal. At that moment, I suddenly didn't want to continue with Sophia, and said with relief, I'm not getting married. The groom at the wedding has changed. My dad didn't ask any more questions, and I squatted down to pack my luggage. Sophia called at this time, baby, my stomach hurts, can you come over and give me some stomach medicine? Her voice was soft, as if she wasn't the one who betrayed me a few hours ago. I held back my anger and rejected her. If you have a stomachache, go to the hospital. Why are you calling me? Sophia was even angrier than me, and said angrily, did you take the wrong medicine? My stomach hurts so badly, how can I have time to go to the hospital? Don't you have stomach medicine at home? Send it to me right away. I was silent. After being together for 10 years, Sophia always spoke to me in such a bossy tone, and even many of my friends thought that her attitude towards me was too bad. But at that time, I was blinded by love and firmly believed that Sophia just had a bad temper, but she loved me. But now, the slap in the face comes too fast. I responded in a cold tone, I won't go to see you off. I have something to do. Since I have already decided to leave, there is no need to argue too much. I heard Sophia swear on the other end of the line, and then the call was hung up. I squatted down to pack my luggage. It was funny to say that after being together for 10 years and living in the same house, my stuff couldn't even fill up a suitcase. It was also true that in these years, I devoted all my heart and soul to Sophia. She said she wanted to start a business, so I invested money for her and helped her build connections. She wanted to be promoted, so I used my connections to help her sign up for various classes. Even her current exquisite strong woman look was created by me. I put all my time and energy on her, but in the end, what I got in return was her deep love for another man. That's all, nothing much to say. But before I left, I looked at the stomach medicine I prepared for Sophia and the painful cramps she had every time she had a stomachache, and I softened my heart. I just thought of it as the last time I gave her medicine and explained that to break up her. But when I asked which hospital Sophia was in, before I even entered the ward, I saw her carefully supporting David and feeding him medicine attentively. I crumpled the stomach medicine in my hand into a ball. David also saw me standing outside the door, raised his eyebrows and smiled at me. The next second he said to Sophia coquettishly, Sophia, the medicine is so bitter, can you kiss me? Sophia kissed him without hesitation. David held her head tightly, and they kissed each other. But I felt like I was struck by lightning, and I froze in place. Until Sophia's mother arrived at some point, looked at me standing at the door, and asked in surprise, James, why are you standing here and not going in? The two people in the ward reluctantly separated. When Sophia saw that it was me standing outside, a flash of discomfort flashed across her face, but soon, she took the initiative and asked me with a frown, why are you here? Seeing the deformed stomach medicine in my hand, the expression on her face relaxed a little, and she said in a calm tone, are you here to deliver medicine to David? It just so happens. Sophia reached out to take the medicine, but I threw it directly into the trash can. Sophia, who had been looking calm at first, suddenly changed her expression and asked me loudly, James, what do you mean? I didn't say anything, I just looked at David's face. There was a lipstick mark on the corner of his lips that hadn't been wiped off. It was exactly the same color as the anniversary gift I gave Sophia last week. It was very glaring. Sophia's eyes flashed with a trace of guilt, but she quickly toughened up and said, David just returned China too, and when we hosted a welcoming party for him tonight, a few people had a little too much fun. I don't know how Sophia came up with such a high-sounding excuse. I just stared at her coldly. Seeing that I didn't respond for a long time, Sophia's guilty conscience became more and more intense, and finally turned into anger. She shouted angrily, James, that's enough. You have to choose a place to be jealous. David is so sick, and you are still fussing about such trivial matters. I was so blind to fall in love with a man like you. That's right. David also chimed in with a smile on his face, and then sarcastically said, James, Sophia is so outstanding now, and she is still willing to be with you, you should be content. I heard that you are going to have your wedding soon. If you lose Sophia again, it will be bad to replace someone else at the wedding. If it was before, I would have been furious to hear what David said, but now, I responded to him, who else, you? David was stunned for a moment, not expecting me to be so straightforward. He subconsciously said, not necessarily. After all, Sophia and I have grown up together. If I hadn't suddenly gone abroad, you wouldn't have been able to be with Sophia. Don't you think so, Sophia? Sophia didn't say anything, but I knew she thought the same thing. After all, I knew best how miserable Sophia was when David went abroad. The air pressure in the room dropped rapidly at a speed visible to the naked eye. Finally, Sophia's mother interrupted him, it's all in the past, what's there to talk about? Sophia, the wedding photos you and James took this afternoon are ready, why don't you two go pick them up together? I'm busy and David is still sick, so let James go. Sophia refused without thinking. Sophia's mother's face suddenly turned ugly, and she wanted to say something, but I took over the conversation, it's okay, I'm free, I'll go. After all, these are my own photos, I don't want others to mess with them casually. But when I got to the bridal shop and looked at the developed wedding photos, I almost laughed out loud. All the photos were of Sophia and David, not a single one of Sophia and me. The staff member was very panicked and immediately apologized to me, sorry Mr. James, we don't know what went wrong. I will go and check it for you now. No need, let's just send it to this address as planned. Originally, I had no plans to marry Sophia, and it would be just right for the wedding photos to be used at Sophia and David's wedding. When I got home, it was already 5 p.m., and my dad's plane was less than an hour away from landing. I was lying on the sofa, just about to make a cup of coffee and take a break, when Sophia came back. As soon as she came in, she started rummaging through the drawers like crazy, but I didn't bother to pay attention to her. But when Sophia looked around and couldn't find what she wanted, she immediately looked at me in the living room and asked, did you move anything in my room? What? I asked, confused. Sophia's expression was very ferocious as she said, it's the ornament I put on the table in my bedroom. It was given to me by David. Did you hide it? I frowned. There was indeed a wooden figurine on the bedside table in the master bedroom, which was out of tune with our decoration. But no matter how many times she moved, Sophia always kept the faded figurine with her. I asked her once before, and she said it was a gift from an important person. I didn't expect that person was David. Well, apart from David, who else could have made Sophia, who was so thick-skinned and easily bored with new things, keep an inconspicuous wooden doll year after year? But these have nothing to do with me anymore. My dad sent me a message saying that he had gotten off the plane and would be here soon, and I also packed my luggage and prepared to go out. Suddenly, Sophia's eyes fell on the suitcase in my hand. The next second, she rushed towards my suitcase like crazy. You hid it in your suitcase, right? I knew that you hated David so much that you would throw away the things he gave me. Give it back to me. Sophia came up and grabbed my suitcase. I didn't want to pay attention to her, so I just said, are you sick? Sophia pushed me away and opened my suitcase in front of me and started searching inside. I didn't have much stuff, and for convenience, Sophia lifted the suitcase and spread it all over the floor, but there was nothing inside except a few pieces of my underwear. Sophia was convinced that I had taken her things, and she screamed, "I know you hate David, but that was the couple doll David gave me. Can you please give it back to me? James, how could you be such a person? Didn't I just go out to welcome David last night without telling you? Are you so petty? Give it back to me right now." Sophia was hysterical and even started to smash things in the house. Soon, the house was in a mess. Finally, she was not satisfied and grabbed the wedding photo that had been delivered and smashed it on the ground. The frame broke into pieces and the cloth covering it slowly slipped off, revealing the smiling faces of Sophia and David. Sophia was stunned, but she reacted quickly and subconsciously argued, "James, listen to me, this is no need to say more. I told her I saw the proposal in the castle yesterday. It was very good. I wish you a happy marriage." Sophia's mouth suddenly opened wide, and she frowned and asked me, "James, what do you mean?" I replied to her, "It's meaningless. I won't get married." Sophia had a funny expression on her face. "Are you sure? James, you and I have been together for 10 years, and you have quit your job and stayed at home for 10 years. Can you survive without me?" I was wrong about what happened last night, but that was because we were hosting a welcoming party for David, and a welcoming party requires wearing wedding dresses and kissing. I interrupted her and said, "Sophia, it's okay for you to lie, but don't lie to yourself. I know you like David, so let's break up. I'll help you." I don't know what I said irritated Sophia, but she angrily agreed, "Okay, we'll break up, but don't regret it. Then you can cry and beg me to get back together with you." I remember the only time Sophia and I had a fight, it was because of David. We had agreed to visit my seriously ill mentor, but she changed her mind and talked to David on the phone for a long time because of a phone call from David. I tried to stop her, but Sophia was very angry. "Your mentor has been ill for a long time. What's the harm in going to see him a few days later? David is in a bad mood. What if something happens to him in a foreign country? If you stop me again, we will break up." That day, I rushed to the hospital, but still didn't see my mentor for the last time. I felt guilty for a long time because he was the best person to me besides my parents. Sophia scoffed at this. "That just shows that he has a bad luck. I'm going to play games with David now." I was so angry that I broke up with Sophia, and she agreed readily. After the breakup, she was like nothing happened, eating, drinking and having fun as usual, but I lost 10 pounds and didn't even have the interest to eat. After receiving the message from Sophia asking for money to buy a new bag, I transferred all the money I had to her without hesitation. I thought we were reconciled, but I didn't expect it to be the same mistake again. But I won't make the same mistake a second time. Taking a deep breath, I told Sophia, "Don't worry, I will never appear in your world again." Sophia thought I was bragging. After all, every time she got mad at me, I was the first to give in. So when I left and got into my dad's luxury Bentley, she thought I was mad and shouted in the direction I was leaving, "James, just go ahead and don't come back. I will make you watch me marry someone else and have kids, so you won't even have time to regret it." Sophia's voice was so sharp that even my dad couldn't help but frown when he heard it. "What's going on?" "It's okay," I replied. "I spent 10 years proving that I was wrong about him. I can bear all the sadness and grief alone. I don't want my parents to worry about me." Seeing that I refused to talk, my father did not ask any further questions. Instead, he asked me what my plans were next. I sighed and said, "I'm fine with anything. As long as I can leave this damn place and not meet Sophia again, I'd be willing to go to Africa." My dad pondered for a moment, then said, "Then I'll arrange for you to start working in China. It just so happens that my family has just opened a new company in the nearby city. You can go there to gain some experience. Once you make some achievements, I'll transfer you abroad." I agreed. The onboarding procedures were completed very quickly, and I started working that afternoon. Mia, the company's general manager, didn't like me as a relative who was parachuted in, but when she saw that I handled all the work in an orderly manner and was able to find several loopholes in the work, she gave me a thumbs up and exclaimed, "Mr. James, you have led many large projects, right? Your processing speed and ability are amazing." I smiled. No one knew that during the 10 years I had been with Sophia, I had been handling all the affairs of her company. I had become very proficient at this kind of thing. Unlike my busy life, Sophia has been living a good life after the breakup. She and David go to various occasions every day in a high-profile manner. It's almost written on their faces that they are a couple. Today they are at Disneyland, tomorrow they are at a couple restaurant, and their love is so affectionate that it can fly off the screen. Sometimes I think David is ridiculous. When Sophia and I were together, he couldn't stand it and came to sabotage us, and he always sent me some random things. But now that Sophia and I have broken up, he still always sends some of his and Sophia's intimate interactions on my phone. Looking at the overwhelming intimate photos on the screen, I just found it funny. I blocked David directly and the world suddenly became quiet. But I didn't expect to meet Sophia and David here. There was an interview at the company in the afternoon. I didn't have to go, but Mia insisted that I was very capable and asked me to go and check it out. When I walked to the meeting room, I saw Sophia accompanying David. She looked at him with admiration and said, "David, you are amazing. I heard that this company is one of the Fortune 500 companies. How can you come here to work?" That's right. David was not modest at all. He continued proudly, "I didn't think much of this company at first, but their HR kept sending me messages, so I agreed to come and take a look." Sophia said lovingly, "You are really amazing. I knew you were much better than that loser James. He goes out to eat and drink every day and doesn't understand the hard work I put into making money." Perhaps because she heard my name, Mia immediately set her sights on me. After seeing the calm expression on my face, she rubbed her nose and said, "Mr. James, you can come meet the people today." "I won't join in." I didn't want to see David's face, but David noticed me. A look of surprise flashed across his face, and then he said in a haughty tone, "James, are you here to apply for a job too? But I advise you to forget it. You have been out of society for several years. In the past 10 years, you have been relying on Sophia as a gigolo. With your level, any company that hires you will be unlucky for 8 years. It is more suitable for you to work in a nightclub." David's words were so venomous that even Mia couldn't stand it anymore and wanted to come forward to help me out. But I asked Sophia, who was standing next to me, "Is that how you talk about me to others?" Sophia's face flashed with an uncomfortable look, but she admitted it in disguise. She gritted her teeth and said, "He's right. James, it's okay for you to quarrel with me and get angry, but don't do what David does. He studied abroad and you can't compare with him." I almost laughed at what Sophia said. I also had the opportunity to study abroad, and it was in the top 3 universities in the world, but Sophia said she was worried that I would no longer love her after returning from studying abroad, so she insisted that I give up. In the end, she still looked down on my resume, which was not as good as David's, even though David only studied at a fake university abroad, which could be attended with a little money. But I was too lazy to say more to her. I picked David's resume from the applicants and threw it in his face, saying in a cold tone, "You don't need to participate in the recruitment." David was stunned, but he laughed when he realized what was going on. "James, I didn't believe Sophia when she said you were mentally ill, but today I see it's true. You don't think you are the HR for today's interview, do you?" Sophia also frowned and said, "James, you've gone too far. Go home quickly. My mom said that there are some details about the wedding that she needs to finalize with you." Sophia reached out to pull me as usual, but this time, before her hand touched my sleeve, Mia separated her. "I'm sorry, miss, our Mr. James said that he doesn't want to hire this gentleman, please go back." "What did you say? Mr. James?" David noticed Mia addressing me, and was stunned for a second before he laughed. "Did I hear you right? You're calling this gigolo Mr. James? James, you can fantasize about it, but there's no need to ask someone to act with you. Get out of here and stop embarrassing yourself." David's tone was full of mockery, and even Sophia advised me, "James, stop making trouble and go home quickly." The next second, the HR opened the door of the conference room, and when he saw me, he immediately greeted me seriously, "Hello, Mr. James." David was stunned, and Sophia was stunned too. I said to the HR who came in, "Please clean up the garbage. Don't let such messy people come to the company for interviews in the future." David was kicked out of the company, along with Sophia. Until the moment he was thrown out by the security guards, David couldn't believe that I was the president of this company. "Sophia, this must be James' trick. He always loves to lie. You must not believe it." Sophia was a little hesitant. After all, it was impossible for me to invite the entire company to act with me. Just then, the company called and told Sophia that there was a problem with the company's latest cooperation project. Sophia was getting anxious and angry. "Hasn't this project been going smoothly? How come there is a problem all of a sudden?" The person in charge was also innocent. "I don't know either. Mr. James has always been in charge of the company's projects. No matter how big the problem is, we can solve it by giving him a call." "Then go ahead and call him," Sophia urged. The person on the other end of the phone hesitated for a moment before replying, "Mr. James has blocked me." Sophia cursed, but she couldn't be vague about business matters, especially since this was her company's biggest project in the second half of the year. She immediately took out her cell phone and called me. I saw it and could roughly guess why she called me, but I didn't answer. I turned the phone to silent mode and slammed it on the table. Sophia made 10 calls but none of them went through. Her mood had already changed at a visible speed. Seeing that she was about to lose her temper, David spoke tactlessly, "Isn't it just a project? If it fails, there will be another one. Sophia, you said you would go to the movies with me this afternoon. The movie is about to start. Let's. Look, what else can you do all day besides doing these useless things? This project is worth 10 million, and the company's revenue in the second half of the year depends on it. Go and see for yourself, I'm busy." Sophia interrupted David before he could finish his words. David was also confused when he saw Sophia in front of him, who seemed like a completely different person. He stopped her before she got into the car and said, "It's just a project, right? I'll take care of it." David failed faster than I expected. Not only that, he also caused Sophia to lose another project with the same company. Sophia and David had a big fight, and David was not convinced, so he went to the partner's company and made a scene, which was filmed and uploaded to the internet. For a time, the internet was flooded with negative news about Sophia's family group. Sophia was forced to apologize publicly, but it was of no avail. Countless companies terminated their contracts with the Sophia family group. In just 1 week, the Sophia family fell into crisis and was on the verge of collapse. I wasn't surprised when Sophia called me. "James, I know I was wrong. Can you please come back?" Her voice was full of regret. If I hadn't heard David in the background trying to persuade her to cover herself with a blanket because she was afraid she would be cold, her words would have sounded more sincere. "Sophia, we're broken up," I told her. Sophia shook her head and said, "No, it's not a breakup if I don't agree. James, I was wrong. I really miss you. Please come back. I beg you. I will do anything for you to be with me again." For 10 years, I have wanted to hear Sophia say this. For this, I have worked hard and given everything. But now, listening to her apology, I just feel it is annoying. I hung up the phone and blocked Sophia's number. But Sophia showed up at the door of my company the next day, wearing the wedding dress I designed, holding a large bouquet of flowers, holding a banner and confessing to me affectionately, "James, will you marry me again?" Seeing the giant banner behind her, countless passers-by stopped to take pictures. Even Mia teased me, "Mr. James, you are so charming. You proposed to such a beautiful woman in public." "I like to give it to you," I responded helplessly. Mia retracted her bared teeth and said aggrievedly, "Mr. James, don't joke with me. I have heard about this beauty's deeds. I can't handle it." "Then why are you still standing there?" I asked her back. Mia was stunned for a moment, and I continued to give orders, "Go find the security department and deal with this person as soon as possible. Leaving him at the entrance of the company is an eyesore to the city." Sophia was chased away by the security guards. She was in such a hurry that she even lost one of her high heels. But she didn't care. She came to the company gate every day in her wedding dress. When the security guards chased her away, she would stand across the street and then unroll the giant banner with my name on it. After a while, even my dad had some opinions. He looked at me helplessly and said, "Son, this is your own business, and your dad shouldn't interfere." "But Sophia, coming to the company gate every day to make trouble is not a good thing, you see." I nodded and responded, "I understand, Dad. I will take care of this." I released Sophia from the blacklist and told her I wanted to meet and talk with her. Sophia was very happy and said happily, "Then I will book the most popular couples restaurant in the city, okay?" I replied to her with 2 words, "Whatever." At 8:30 in the evening, after half a month, I was in the same space with Sophia again. Sophia was very excited to see me. She immediately took out her phone and introduced the photos to me one by one. "James, during the time you were away, I renovated our house in your favorite Chinese style. I also asked the bridal shop to redo the wedding photos. They have been washed and hung in our wedding room. The wedding will be in your favorite Chinese style and the venue will be." Sophia knew everything about me, and every word she said was what I had been looking forward to. But now, every word she said was so boring. I reached out and covered Sophia's phone, and asked her, "Do you remember how we met?" Sophia froze for a moment, and an embarrassed expression began to appear on her face. I knew she didn't remember, but it didn't matter. I took out the lottery ticket that I had kept in my wallet for nearly 10 years and slowly pushed it in front of her. "The first time I met you was at the lottery shop on campus. You said that one of your lottery tickets had expired. Could you redeem it?" Memories from 10 years ago gradually came back to me, and Sophia was also pulled back to the time when we first met. That day, the clerk at the lottery shop refused her request to exchange the lottery tickets, and Sophia cried very sadly because she said that this was the money she used to pay for her tuition. If she didn't have this money, she might be asked to drop out of school. I felt sorry for her and paid the money for her. From then on, the gears of fate began to turn. But now, I want to tell Sophia that expired lottery tickets cannot be exchanged, just like our relationship. Once it's over, and there's no point in trying to save it. But before I could finish my words, Sophia's phone rang. Although she took it in time, I still saw the name flashing on it, David Big Baby. She has never called me by such an intimate name. No matter if we have been together for 1 year or 10 years, I will always be James in her mouth. Sorry, James, I need to take a call. Sophia didn't notice the change in my expression and got up to answer the phone. Through the transparent glass window, I could see her patience in coaxing the person on the other end of the phone. I suddenly felt that even this meeting was meaningless. I stood up and paid the bill directly, then went out and called my dad. Dad, I've made up my mind. I'll take over the overseas project. Okay, book a flight for this afternoon, the sooner the better. When Sophia returned to the restaurant after the call, I was nowhere to be seen. She called me immediately, but the response she got was a cold, mechanical voice. Sophia panicked and typed with shaking hands at James, "Where have you been? Please don't scare me, okay? James, come back. Tomorrow is our wedding. Didn't we agree to have a good talk?" The moment I received Sophia's message, the boarding reminder sounded in the waiting room at the same time. I looked at my phone and saw dozens of missed calls and that message. In the end, I pulled out the card and threw it directly into the trash can. I thought to myself, Sophia, I have loved you for 10 years, and pursued you for 10 years. During these 10 years, your eyes never stayed on me. Even when we said goodbye, there was David's shadow. Goodbye, never see you again. I arrived abroad that afternoon and started working intensively as soon as I landed. It was already a month later when I finished the project at hand. My dad said that the new project was going well, and he was going to transfer an old acquaintance from China to help me. I was not surprised when I saw Mia. She was still the same as always. She teased me right away, "You are living a comfortable life abroad. Have you let go of the past?" I knew what she was talking about, so I said casually, "I let it go a long time ago." Mia looked at me and said, "That's good. Do you know? Something happened to your ex-girlfriend. Even though you were out of the country, she still insisted on holding a wedding, saying that you would definitely come to marry her. But at the wedding, she found out that the groom was someone else, and even the posters were of another man. She immediately went crazy and chopped off the man's hand, saying that if he hadn't been making trouble, she would have married you a long time ago. By the way, you know that man, his name seems to be David." "David," I added to Mia's words. She immediately nodded in agreement. Yes, that's David. The man was in such a pity. There was a good chance that he could be reunited with his wife, but the woman threw his hand into the sewer and washed it away. When it was found, it was already smelly. I'm afraid he will be disabled for life. The woman seemed to have been diagnosed with mental problems and is still in a mental hospital. If you ask me, you had the foresight to draw a line between yourself and this kind of woman as soon as possible. Otherwise, I have to go to the hospital to see you now. Mia was still teasing me, but I didn't say anything. Maybe, but that's all in the past. From now on, in my life, there is neither Sophia nor David, only me.